as a failed state. How do you know when a state is a failed state? That's what we are going to now. This is a book. This is a research, written by, let's even see who, I posted something on Twitter. So let's say this is from chapter 2 of this. From chapter 2. So this is a failed state. As you can see, it's called Failed State 2030. The only problem I have with this particular report is that 2030, it is 2023, actually, not 2030. Failed State, Nigeria, a case study by Christopher J. Kinan, Cornell, USA Force or something, Daniel B. Cordon, Cornell, Mark D. DeLong, Cornell, Douglas W. Jacquish, Cornell, Robert S. McAllen, Cornell, February 2011. This was written as a report by highly intelligent military officers of the United States, February 2011. Do you understand me? We do research. I want you people to understand that when they say if you want to hide something from a black man, from an Africa, put it in a book, it's no longer about Biafra people. You can never hide anything for us if just about being in a book. Even if that your book is 1 million copy, we are going to read the secret in that 1 million copy. That is the level we have gone to make sure that Nigeria will never go beyond next year. So I am bringing to you here 2011 February report from the highly intelligent military officers of the United States. And you can see Cornell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Contribution, brain, and research of 5 highly specialized military officers, intelligence officers of the United States. And then occasional paper number 67, Center for Strategy and Technology, Air War College, Air University, Maxwell Air Force Base. Do you understand? Now, we are not going to read the whole thing. We're not going to read the whole thing because there is a kind of very, very important information. Failed State 2030, Nigeria, a case study, February 2011. I want you to understand that we are formidable. We do research, we do analysis to be able to come to a conclusion of whatever we are going to do, how we are going to do it. That's why you must take our actions very, very serious. Our actions are brain-based actions, actions that we have researched, meditated on, and make sure that our actions and the outcome will be very productive and we go to the right direction, Biafra, freedom, and exit from Nigeria. So we are not all these illiterates that are only killing our people in the name of agitation. That we are fighting them. So if you ever wondered why they are fighting Simon Ekpa, know that they are fighting Simon Ekpa because Simon Ekpa is bringing sanity to the Biafra struggle, and we have already restored sanity, and now we focus on liberation. So, and we are going to liberate Biafra from Nigeria. Now let us go to this particular, to this failed state, chapter 2. We are going to chapter 2 of this particular report. And the chapter 2 talk about defining failure. So we are going to, read. A state fails when it suffers the loss of physical control of its territory. Do you understand it now? Today, in 2022, we have been able to prove to the world and to Nigeria and to international community beyond every reasonable doubt that Nigeria is no longer in control, physical control of Biafra territory. Biafra territory is under the control of Biafra people. That is why we sit at home, because we want to leave Nigeria. And when we call sit at home, Biafra people sit at home against whatever the government, the threat of the government. Even when they threaten that they're not going to receive their salary, the people of Biafra sit at home. So it shows loss of control of the territory. I want you people to understand that everything we do here is not just, is highly intelligent. What we are fighting is a, brain fight. We're using multidimensional approach to fight Nigeria. So when some of you will be wondering, sit at home every time, there is nothing we have gained. You have gained something. You have been able to prove to the world that Nigeria is a failed state. And I am giving you now an example of failed state. And from this particular research, the intelligence, the military, the US military intelligence and all that, they say that Nigeria will be a failed and collapsed state in 2030. And we are now telling them that we are not waiting till 2030, that it is ending 2023. So anybody that is predicting anything 2030 is wasting his time. It's going to end next year. And I'm telling you now, what makes a state a failed state? You don't understand. Failed state is when you lost physical control of that territory. And of course, I do not need to tell you how they lose control of Northeast and all that to the Boko Haram and what is going on. So it is monopoly on the legitimate use of force, the erosion of its legitimate authority to make collective decisions, and inability to provide reasonable public services. Just exactly what is happening today all over Nigeria. The state have failed to provide all these things that you see because of the presence of insecurity all over Nigeria. And the inability to interact with other states as a full member of the international community. The 2007 Failed State Index, compiled by the Fund for Peace and the Foreign Policy magazine, identified these indicators of a failed state and then ranked the nations of the world from those most to least likely to fail based on institutional corruption. I want you to understand that institutionalized corruption in Nigeria also, made this possible for Nigeria to be a failed state, and we'll end it next year. Now, I want you to understand again, criminality, the ability of the government to regulate the economy and collect taxes, internal displacement of citizens. Nigerians are being displaced every day by foreign terrorists, foreign Fulanis, backed by Nigeria army. Sharp economic decline. Nigeria economic have nosedived to the lowest. Group grievances is everywhere all over Nigeria. Institutional discrimination is everywhere. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu court will say release him, and the federal government will say we will not release him. Why no court will say release Boko Haram? The Nigerian government are ordering the release of Boko Haram in hundreds. Why one man have not been released? That is what we call institutionalized discrimination against Biafra people, specifically Ndi Igbo speaking part of Biafra. It is what characterize a state as a failed state. It is part of the indicators of a failed state. The emigration of the intelligentsia and the state of the ecology. You see, the emigration of the intelligentsia. So when you see that all the brain people are living, and they live in Nigeria, like all of you know that Biafra people are doing very well all over the world, it is also means that they are not only the people that are leading them are nincompoop. People that are illiteracies, their illiteracy are smelling. That is what is happening in Nigeria, to show you that Nigeria is a failed state, and we are ending it in 2023. Nigeria, an oil-rich country with the largest population in Africa and a top 20 economy, was ranked 17 most likely to fail on the list of 148 countries studied for the 2007 Failed State Index. The area of the greatest concern for Nigeria include uneven economic and social development, a failure to address group grievances, which is we, the Biafra people, are part of, as a manifested through an active insurgency. I want you people to understand that the world know what we are doing. The world know our anger today. The world know that it is a long time waiting. What you see today, what is going to happen next year is something that the entire America, the world, Europe, the Western world are already aware of. They are only waiting for when are these people going to rise up. And this generation, which Samanekpa is very part of, is going to rise up next year. We're already rising up, so we are just waiting for the whole thing to blow up. And a perceived lack of governance legitimacy. Lack of governance legitimacy is when they will come to kill people in their hundreds in a Hamufu and nothing is done about it. Why? It is oil wealth hold promise for the future of its people. Nigeria's potential failure hold danger for the global economy and could threaten the vital interests of many nations. That is why they are struggling to continue to put Nigeria, not knowing that the continual existence of Nigeria is the biggest threat to this nation, not its disintegration, depending on how they want Nigeria to disintegrate. That's why we are telling them, if you know something that is good for you, look into this disintegration next year, because we are going to take it by force and it will affect everybody, both the big and the small. And those who are saying they are going to call you terrorists, America already know that the potential of this particular thing that is happening now is going to happen. They already know. It is only that they regard you as a coward who cannot stand up to end this impunity once and for all. I want you to understand this, that Nigeria potential failure hold danger for the global economy and could threaten the vital interests of many nations. The Failed State Index researcher conclude that state failure, such as that considered possible in Nigeria, can be catastrophic based on a single incident or may be the result of a long period of decline in which the government can no longer govern or provide for its people. I am telling you today that this is what is going on. And as you can see, while they are making millions, they cannot even, the DSS don't even have money to feed Mazin and Kanu. Even worse, states that do fall take a long time to recover. The World Bank surveyed state identified as a failed state in 1980, and they found that they are still failed 28 years later. In fact, statistically, analysis suggests that most of these states will likely require another 28 years for a total of 56 years to fully recover. They can never recover. Tell me one state that have recovered after 56 years of having this particular dangerous diversity. It is a lie. They can never recover. That is why P2B presidency is dead on arrival. It can never recover from a failed state, can never recover in 8 years, can never recover in 20 years. It can never recover because we have never seen any state that actually recover from being a failed state. According to the United States Commission on National Security, state failure result in an increase in the rise of suppressed nationalism, ethnic and religious violence. Are you people hearing it? This is what we are going to end. Why would you want to continue to live in a state, a failed state, that you are going to see the increase in suppressed nationalism, increase in ethnic religious violence, increase in humanitarian disasters, major catalyst regional crisis, and the spread of dangerous weapons? In short, failed states are a danger not only to their own people, but also to the regional neighbors. And in a highly globalized world, they are a probable danger to the world economy and the vital interests of other nations. This is what you must support so that you are not going to find yourself in this situation by next year, because it is happening. So you see, every reasonable person, of course, Nigeria do not, they don't know history. So we are going to take only this particular section of this particular research to educate you today. Maybe tomorrow we go into Nigeria History Foundation for Failures. So tomorrow we are going to take you on a journey of history, and it is called Nigeria History Foundations for Failure. We are not going to allow ourselves, when we know the truth, for us to go through this particular needle in order to make a living for the next 10 years. No, it is going to be once and for all, and we are ending it next year. When we teach you with evidence. When we come to expose, we make exposition with evidence. And that is why we are very, very exceptional. We are different, and that's why this our radical awareness for Biafra exit have started. And I know that any moment from now, the posters of referendum, flyers of referendum now, and no election in Biafra land will be littered everywhere. So we can't wait to see videos of Biafrans pasting those posters and flyers everywhere in Biafra territory. I want you to understand that this is one of the best exposition today. I'm not going to take calls because I want this particular broadcast to be a very short one, so that people can actually make short videos and start posting it online. But know one thing, we are going home next year.